Hello and welcome to Sobrix. I'm Adam and this is Sobrix. This is my channel for reviewing Lego sets and building them and other Lego related stuff. This is a special video, probably going to be a Patreon exclusive, and I will open this up so we can see what it is. Because this is a larger set, my current setup isn't the best for this, and I kind of do want to have some exclusive stuff for Patreon. So this is the Rivendell set from Lord of the Rings. And this will be the biggest set I've ever built, by far, perhaps. I mean, I did, my previous biggest set was Ninjago City Gardens, which I did not too long ago, and I've had this one for a long time. I've had this one for longer than that, but I've just been putting it off building it, and now it is time. So let me pull up some information here. And okay, so this is set number 10316. It has 6,167 pieces, and it retails for $500. I think I ended up paying like $400 when this was coming out. I used $100 worth of VIP points, I believe, so I did get it a little bit cheaper, but very expensive set, very big set, and I'm pretty excited to get into it. So in this video, I'm going to be opening this up. I'm going to be putting this together, and then I'll share my thoughts on it and probably do kind of a commentary as the build goes. So that's very exciting for me, and let me pull up the instructions and I'll just get into this. So enjoy, and thanks for watching. Thanks for being a Patreon subscriber or a member on YouTube. That is greatly appreciated. So thank you very much. I'm going to move these out of the way, and I'll use the digital instructions here. Wow, this is exciting. Okay, so I'm going to kind of do some commentary while we look at the build for this video. I might make an additional video where I can go over the set more in depth and get really close into some of the details here. We start off just with the first bags, and if you've ever built big Lego sets, it takes a while for them to take shape here, and so there's some interesting stuff going on to make this all work. We did start with one minifigure. I believe it was Frodo. There was one of the hobbits. So that's okay, and we're just starting this first section. There's actually 3 instruction booklets, 3 kind of main sections, and if you were to move the set around or anything like that, they can be taken apart rather easily. So this is the section that has the tower, and we're just building the base of that. So it almost looks like it would be on a half of a base plate, but not quite. So we kind of build up some of the base here. We have some interesting kind of floral elements added, some kind of ground rock formations, all different stuff. And now we move on to the next bags of pieces. We have another Hobbit character to put the minifigure together for, and then we start adding to the kind of Rivendell tower here on this side. As you can see, I did have some issue with some colors. Some colors in the instructions on my monitor looked a little bit different than the colors in person, but I think I figured that out. That might be a recurring theme throughout this. We add some of those new fern pieces there, a couple different arch pieces here, and actually the tower is going to extend over kind of that more land area there. We did tile out that nice rug in the middle, and we're gonna just add up more to this kind of rounded tower here. And there's some really interesting building techniques in this, and just overall some really good stuff. So very exciting. Like I said, this is the biggest set I've ever built. This is also being recorded. I'm recording the kind of voiceover for this and the commentary for this way after I built built this and recorded all of the builds. So it's going to be kind of interesting for me to go back and look at all of this. But we can see kind of the tower starting to take shape. I really like the use of those pieces down on the bottom of those pillars with the kind of axle hole in them to kind of make like a little bit of a detail there. We add some candlesticks on the inside. We start connecting all of that around, so we have the makings of kind of a courtyard, not a courtyard necessarily, but like a makings of a wall that will eventually be part of something that resembles a tower here, which is just on one side of the Rivendell, not castle, but the whole Rivendell thing. We had a little bit of like a bed there, or like a table. I think this is a bed that hobbits sort of maybe Frodo wakes up in one of the movies. We also had a bookshelf here, which is done in a really nice way. It reminds me very much of bookshelves done in some of the modular buildings and something else like that. So nice uses of color there. It's a nice little sub-assembly with some gold kind of elements to decorate it, and that makes up some of the bottom there. We add some kind of cross beams here for a little more structural integrity. We do have several minifigures now that we're putting together that are just in the like gray, and there's a few different kinds. Those are actually statues, I think elven statues, so there's a couple different kinds here, and you work on putting those all together. And then we add kind of this area to really round this out with some interesting techniques in here. We do make nice use of those kind of fender pieces that go around, and this whole thing was just really, really cool. And then we'll actually add another one of those in the middle there and get that all situated. So there's some angles working in here that are pretty unique and pretty complex, and it made the build very, very fun and engaging for me. So I really, really liked how this was done, and that actually continues all the way up to the top of the tower and through the rest of the set. This is an extremely well designed set. If you saw the picture at the beginning of when I was kind of paging through the instructions, the physical instructions, it was like a whole team of people that worked on this, and I think they did a really phenomenal job here. So we're going to keep working on this kind of tower area here. And there's some nice, studs on the side type stuff. There's, uses of some bigger panel pieces, which is okay. We do have a sticker there, which is all right. There are stickers in this set. There's also a lot of printed pieces in this set. The stickers are really nicely detailed. They highlight they're almost like banners or pictures or paintings. They highlight some moments from the series, from the movies, and ostensibly the books there. So this one has a really powerful image on it, and I just love all the detailing there when we add those kind of curvy pieces and all that stuff. Even stuff like this, using 4 of those corner tile pieces to add a detail is very, very nice. Again, we add kind of like a little bit of like not a shrine necessarily, but I think it amounts to like a headboard at the end here. We do add some couple more stickers for some detailing on those tiles, and again, I think that's supposed to be a quilt or a blanket or something like that. That's a really nicely made Lego bed. We have a little end table there with some candles. There are a lot of candle pieces in this, and now we get into some more of the building and some kind of external details here. I really like how these were done with some of that gold accents and the white pieces there. It creates a really nice archway that is like pointed, and those kind of go outside on the like windows area there, which is really nice. You can kind of see that they go over some like railing pieces, which is great. That was a really lovely part for me to build. And now we'll kind of build up the few other walls and different things. It's not nearly as straightforward as many other Lego sets. There's a lot of angles and a lot of curves that need to work together to make this make sense. And as you can see, we're putting some different like cheese wedges on the side of things, or different tiles, and these are actually those like pyramid or pointed, not just a cheese wedge, but like they come to a point in the middle detail on either side there, which really helps round out this tower area with very few gaps, which I thought was fantastic. We used a couple different architectural things here, and I believe we are making a desk that I think Bilbo is sort of writing Unexpected Journey or whatever it is at one point. So we build this little desk with the book and the quill and all of that stuff, so that's really good. I'm gathering a large amount of extra pieces there, and we can kind of get a quick look over of this. And now we're moving on to bags 8. I can't even remember what the exact number of bags was for this set, but it was a lot, maybe in the 70s, something like that. We did have the Bilbo minifigure there. We had a little seat, a chair here, which is very good. We add some more railings, so there's some repetition, but that's not too bad for me. I kind of find that somewhat meditative, somewhat fun, so I don't mind that too much at all. And this part's really cool too, because we do have a kind of like angular roof on this, so we use a lot of candlesticks to kind of make these pillars, and then we start adding these like keychain pieces that I call them, that have that hole there that can fit a stud but also could fit like a ring for a keychain, and that really is integral for the structure of the roof. And now we go on to the roof pieces. If you've seen any pictures of this set or seen this set in person, you know that the pattern and the tiling out of the roof section is exquisite. It's really, really incredible. It looks fantastic, and it's also a type of Lego building that I think people really didn't look forward to. But you can see how I'm kind of going through, putting all these 1x1 tiles everywhere. In the instructions, it actually tells you to use a tile, or a plate rather, to help straighten out all these tiles, and it works surprisingly well. It's a great technique that I hadn't really encountered before this set, and I think it's really nice. So it's not just maddening to put all these tiles there, because it's relatively easy to kind of straighten them back out and look kind of pristine. I think the kind of design here with the color choices is really, really smart, and I actually liked putting this together. I thought it was really fun, and I might be in the minority for that, but this was really, really enjoyable for me. And it's not the last this kind of building we're going to see. There's a lot more of this to go on in the future here. Now we add kind of some different bracket pieces there, some kind of more ornamental stuff, and stuff that helps for the structural integrity of how we can attach this roof to the rest of the kind of tower area. And we do have that kind of cutout for the rest of the tower. Again, very few like gaps in this once it's all finished, which is really surprising to me considering how this is all done. We're going to add some stuff, kind of a little extra detailing, some different curves kind of underneath the roof a little bit, which is great, and kind of spin this around, get another look at it here. And on to the next bag of pieces. There's some weird jumps in the edit, and part of that is because I built this over several days, maybe several weeks, and so I would work on it for a while and then come back to it, and work on it for a while and come back to it. You can see there's some nice round pieces here, some big pieces in here, and a lot of that's going to be used for especially like the top of the tower, as we're kind of building towards what is like a really elegant point with some super nice detailing. I don't know what to call some of the architectural detailing on sets like this. I have a tendency to call certain stuff greebling, but that's more for like Star Wars and making those ships like more detailed and have all these interesting shapes, and that's where you get some really interesting piece usages here. So it's not exactly that, but it feels kind of similar. So there's some really a lot of focus on detail, and also so making everything look great and accurate, but also some amazing building techniques to kind of achieve some roundness that is really, I think, unusual for Lego sets. So we use some Technic stuff there, Technic axle bricks, and then we use some of those round pieces, which is really great. And we keep building this tower higher and higher, and it's really, really special when it's all said and done. Tile out that, kind of attach that on there. It's easy enough to come out. This has some modularity to it. Like I said, there's like the 3 main sections that pull apart very easily, but like a modular building, you can kind of remove different levels of this tower to see all the internal details at various points as well. So that's super, super nice. Well done. And here we're going to build some different pillars. Again, some repetition there, but that's okay. And we are moving up to kind of finishing out. This is kind of the core, a lot of brackets, a lot of studs on the side pieces. That is for the top of this tower, this kind of spire there. And we also have some nice unique piece usages, and overall how they did these corners, how these kind of sub-assemblies interlock with each other is, in my opinion, just brilliant. They have those kind of either cheese wedges or those kind of slope pieces there that just mesh with each other with some interlocking stuff that's stud on, that gives the final look this really nice rounded, corners, rounded edges. But it kind of blew my mind when I was putting those sub-assemblies together. We had some of the railings there, add some more curves. Again, we do use another kind of fender type piece there for a different archway thing, and then we kind of build these other little peaks that go around all the windows, and those are really wonderfully done as well. We can add that on top, and that can be easily taken off and put back on, which is pretty nice. I did have some trouble putting it back on here, but theoretically it's easy to put back on, and that actually completes the first section and the first book of the instructions. And now we'll move on to the next section. So again, we're starting off here. Might not make a lot of sense, or you might not know what you're looking at right away, and we're going to build out some of the ground area, some of the floor area, and different stuff, using some different colors on the inside there. A lot of angled plates, a lot of angled bricks, tons of nice stuff. I think this section, there is some sections here that I have made mistakes and had to backtrack a little bit, but hopefully I'll notice them as I'm recording this kind of commentary. You can see we do use one of those relatively big plates. It's not like a full base plate, but that is like a bigger plate, and it does make use of that. Really nice tiling out in here. I believe this is going to be like the, I don't want to get it wrong. Is this where like the armory is going to be, and where kind of the gazebo is going to be, or is this where the stairs are going to be? Yeah, I think this is the stairs, and there's some angles that the stairs are placed at that are like really, really incredible. Tiling out some of the side there for some different rock work. There's some water work in here that is really lovely in this set, and my mind was just consistently blown. It kept just amazing me. Here you can see we move on to some of this water stuff. There's kind of like a stream or a waterfall or different things there. So we do have a relatively big plate in that kind of blue, light blue, aqua type thing. And then you can see all those different translucent pieces there as well, which is really, really great. We do use some white pieces there, which is kind of like, I think, foam or like waves, kind of a different, when water is kind of pooling up at the bottom of a waterfall, for example, where that's supposed to be like the foam or the sea foam or whatever it's called. And there's a lot of tiling out here, a lot of pieces, but the overall effect is really good. We do some really brilliant stuff for some rock work in here, and then also some really brilliant stuff to kind of complete the waterfall look there. And in some of these places you got to be pretty careful because they're pretty specific about what pieces need to go where, and I think every Lego set is like that, but on a set this big, I think it's all the more important to make sure things are being put together correctly, because an error that goes unnoticed for too long is a real maddening thing that we have to go back and redo it. So you can see those nice kind of curved translucent pieces there, and I think that was really gorgeous and very nicely done. There's some big archways in this one. There's some big kind of panel pieces in there, which is okay. There's lots of different changes of elevation, and this is only the second section of this whole thing, and I can't remember the order of which it's done, but I think I have a good sense. So it's not like the biggest portion yet, but it is bigger than the first one, I would say. I don't know about piece count necessarily, but I think this is, overall the footprint is bigger and stuff. The way that we did these steps here is incredible, with kind of those different tiles there to get the descending steps kind of on that curve. I think is just really lovely. Add some more floral elements. You get a ton of those fern pieces, a ton of different kind of stuff. You build some nice trees in this set, which if you've seen my other videos, I like to look at Lego botanicals. I like to look at Lego trees, and I think the ones in this set are done quite well. So that's terrific. I believe we build kind of a little bit of a bridge here and some other nice stuff, and working up to eventually the gazebo will be here, I believe, but that is kind of the last thing you build, if I remember correctly. So it's a little bit interesting to kind of go through this, because this section's like pretty much done and then not done and then done. I thought the pace of this is nice, because now we kind of built all this base here, and now we build a bunch of different little like accessories and small things, internal details for what I've called kind of this little armory or the forge or something like that. And I thought the pace overall was very well balanced, very fun. It was easy enough, easy enough relatively, to kind of build a bag and then come back to it and pick up where I left off, is sort of how I operated on this one. I don't typically like to stop in the middle of a bag of pieces, but that's just a personal thing. And people I know some people who like to just do a couple pieces out of a bag and then come back to it and whatever else. That's not really my style, but whatever you like. I think the pacing of this set in particular allows for many different types of building strategies to be used. I'm also not somebody who sorts out all the pieces by color or by type before building. I like to go in bag order. I think it makes the most sense. I think they do that intentionally, and I'm a big fan of that. I do know some people in my personal life and in the broader Lego community that do that. I think that with my color blindness and whatever else, feels like an extra step that is kind of unnecessary. Build a nice little archway there, and that slots in very nicely, so very good. And we keep doing some more. You can see we have kind of more floral elements, different vines, different ferns, leaves, flower studs. There's some glow-in-the-dark pieces in this set that are used for like the stalks of mushrooms, which is really, really cool. And we also have some different lamps built and a lot of other stuff, which is lovely to see. And now I think in this bag we're actually going to build out more of what is the bridge, as well as the kind of area on which the gazebo will eventually live. So we can see the bridge kind of coming together with these nice kind of archway-like pieces, or half of an archway type piece. The bridge kind of has like steps a little bit, but it also has places to stud people down, which is always a nice consideration to make. I don't when something's like super tiled down, it makes it really difficult to put minifigures there. And I think this one it does, because of the way it slopes. It is difficult, but I think they did a pretty good job. Some of these little sub-assemblies, I'm amazed at how they fit together. I was really impressed kind of just all the way through, so I can't express enough how enjoyable this was for me. And how much I would recommend this. Now, it is a very expensive Lego set, and so I can't say everybody should get it, or it's also very huge, so there's not really it's hard to find space to display this. But as someone who loves Lego, I happen to love Lego. This was like amazing to me. I'm taking a minute to kind of look at what I have done here and check it out. And now we have a bunch of botanical pieces, a bunch of different colors of those bigger leaf pieces, of flower studs, of the smaller leaf pieces, and we add some really great kind of floral elements, or plant life elements here. Little brick built anvil there, which is very good. Some other kind of forging tools or smithing tools here. Again, more of those mushrooms on the kind of cone pieces that are glow in the dark, which is very neat. And now we start building kind of the trunk of a tree here, which was also super unique. It used some of those tiles there just stuck in between studs, which is not an illegal building technique, or going in a clip or something like that, which is really nice. And those represent either different moss or different fungus or some other stuff here. And again, like I say, there is some repetition here with botanical sets with different tree builds. That's pretty common. I don't mind it that much, and I think the end result is so cool and so special that I don't mind the process for it. And I'll repeat what I said earlier. It is kind of meditative for me to work through it methodically, even if there's different kind of repetition things or different things that we have to do multiple times. I tend to really, really like that. So I did not mind putting these trees together. And as far as the pacing goes, I think these are interesting because there's so many different types of builds. There's little, there's big builds for building like all the base and all these different land formations and water formations and air, different things. And then we build the trees, and then we build like little minifigure things, and then all of this other stuff. Now, this part is kind of crazy. I believe this is the kind of base area that the gazebo will eventually sit on, and this is one of the most like ingenious, inspiring Lego building techniques that I've ever encountered. Just the way that they got these Technic holes to be positioned on here, I can't even comprehend how that was kind of designed. And you can see the underside there. This is a little bit of a spoiler. I know there is some Lego media that deliberately kind of left this out to not show people, because they were also incredibly surprised and amazed by how this was done to get the desired shape here. And because I'm doing the kind of commentary in the way that I'm doing it, you will see that. But this just blew me away in a way that I don't see very often. And I actually think this is an element where I did make a mistake at some point in here, and I think I have some trouble kind of putting this onto the kind of other area that we just worked on building here. So once I start trying to fit this to the ground above kind of like the armory there, I think I have a little bit of difficulty. And it appears that we work on building the gazebo right now, which I don't think I remembered as being the case. And maybe I put these together in the wrong order, and maybe I just misremembered. So I'm a little bit lost here. I'm a little bit surprised to see that this is where we're at. I thought this was like the last bag of pieces, and it does not appear to be. I couldn't see what the numbers were on that bag that I just opened. Adds another minifigure there, an elf. Really nice use of these like life preserver pieces in white, some different like horn pieces, candlestick pieces, those kind of like floral pieces there, making the dome of the gazebo, which is just incredible. Flipping these pieces up fills in a lot of gaps there. This blew my mind as well. So totally incredible. And then we also add a little bit of like a table or like a bed or a little thing in the middle of the gazebo as well. Attach some of these different horn pieces to kind of add some more decoration there. Again, very, very lovely, and that attaches like that, which is terrific. And now we can add the little bed bench type piece in the middle there. And now I have to figure out how to attach this, because I think I did something wrong, and it's not setting on the rest of the build in the way that I think it should. Maybe I got it, and now we're moving on to the next main section. So we have some of these bigger plates here again, which we used on the last section as well, and I think I saw that bag of pieces was in the 20s. So I don't know if I just, when I was editing this together, mixed that up, or if this is actually how it's done. So forgive me if I made an error here, but this is kind of the big shebang. This is kind of the main section of the build, and there's tons of other interesting stuff that happens in here that really, really pleased me and surprised me, and made it just the ultimate joy for me to put together. That is bag 24, so and maybe 25, I'll kind of try to keep an eye on some of that stuff. Another minifigure, the placement of the minifigures dispersion, between the bags was well done as well. Add some supports here. There's also kind of a spoiler, like there's a big Easter egg in this set at a certain part that is a really nice little detail too. I like when Lego does those kind of things, and for these kind of big, direct-to-consumer sets, or just these giant sets, I think they tend to try to hide little things in there, and that's always appreciated for either fans of the source material, fans of Lego. There's just a lot of reasons why I think that makes a ton of sense. So that's very, very cool, and I'll call attention to it when it specifically gets put in there. And this is going to be kind of the main, corridor, or the main kind of section of the building. It's the biggest part by far. This uses the most pieces by far, and I can't speak highly enough about it. So really, really terrific. I think I had some issue with some colors where maybe I put the wrong color tile somewhere else, and I'm figuring that out. And now we get to doing some of the flooring here, and these are all printed tiles, these ones with the little kind of design there that you get. I can't remember how many you get, 60 or 70 or something like that, of these printed tiles to tile out the floor, which is just amazing. And there's some different Nexonite shields that also have the printing there, which adds to the overall effect and breaks up some of the monotony of putting all these tiles down, and adds a really nice kind of curvature there, which I again was just kind of mind blown by. I'm so pleased. I would have very much doubted that Lego would have had people put 70 stickers on all these 2x2 pieces. I don't think there's any real way that would have happened, and while I say that, I'm eternally grateful that that didn't happen. So tile out this really, really nice pattern on the floor of the rear there, and then we also do a lot of little jumpers and little things for different pillars, different detail all through there that'll eventually support the floor above this. And we also leave some space for some other stuff on the outside here. We have some different tables or desks or different things with, a candle and a cup and whatever else. So those go all around. We also add some more kind of candlesticks, different places. There's a lot of candle pieces used in this set, but I think the majority of them are actually not used as candles. They use some other pieces. So that was kind of a nice little fun fact in there as well, because the size of this set is what it is. It is one of those sets that'll have some little information throughout the build, throughout the instructions, calling attention to different details or whatever else. And I think that's always a real joy. So even if I'm looking at the digital instructions while I'm building, I get to see all the different references and all the different things that the designers wanted to call attention to, which is really great. We do another super awesome building technique here where we're building kind of stuff on the side and setting it down. So you're building it, it looks like you're building it vertical, and then you kind of lay that down flat. Super nice effect, really great technique that I don't think I would have seen Lego do when I was a kid. And so it's just a testament to how good Lego designers have gotten, and how well this set in particular is constructed and designed. And here's a little bit of an Easter egg here that will go eventually be hidden, but it's easy enough to access that, and that appears to me to be the little eye of Sauron, which is very good. That looked like bag 28. So go into that. We do have some bigger pieces here, a couple different capes for, I think, Merry and Pippin, and I think we're going to have some different stickers in this section as well, and lots of other little details. So we're going to add more to the structure of this area. I wish I knew the name of all these different portions of the set, but alas, I don't. I think we have some stickers that are used on those tiles for like different maps or different drawings that are kind of on those desks near the cups and the candles there. Here we're working on some different pillars, which there's a lot of that. Some of these get put at interesting angles, and the way that we eventually build up the structure that then can support the next floor is really, really well done. Have a big arch piece there used, and we use kind of those other kind of tan bigger arch pieces as well, which is very cool. I had a little bit of difficulty here trying to figure out what was going on there, and just some either piece wasn't attached correctly or something else, and that'll happen occasionally for me. Another big sticker that'll go on some different panel pieces, or make some banners or some other stuff, and that's very good. You know, sometimes a Lego set has stickers that can be left off of a set. I don't personally think this is one of them. There probably are some that could be left off. I don't remember if there's specifically ones where I was like, well, that should have been in print versus a different one, because we did get all these wonderful, lovely little floor tile prints here. But I think the stickers are not, you know, there's not too many of them, so it's not crazy. They're not terribly hard to put on, and I think they add a lot to the storytelling of this set. I think they add a lot to kind of the visible kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Like, just it makes it more visually interesting, a little more complicated, breaks up the monotony, because the stickers are well produced, and they're just not really something you could get with brick built detail. If they were all printed, you know, sure, I'm not going to complain about that. I would welcome that, you know, any day of the week, but it makes sense to me. Working on some stairs here, which is really great. Always an interesting thing to see how Lego designers do their stairs, especially ones that have to have maybe a curve in them and different stuff like that. I've encountered different things with stairs in different modular buildings, and it's always interesting to see what they come up with, and in this case I think that was pretty well done. Move on to adding some more stuff that will eventually be structure for that level of the floor up there, and we'll have some different pillars again, and moving on to the bags like 30, 31, 32, kind of in that area. And I think it seems like we're building a new kind of base area there, but we're really not. This is going to just add on to some of the stuff we've already been putting together, which again, I like how it changes up the pace. You kind of work from really, really big, then kind of finish it out, adding the smaller details, then you move on to the next section, and you're back out to like working on more of the big picture, more of the foundation, more of the base here with some of these bigger plates. And then, you know, there's definitely room room for more tiny details there as well. So you can see the amount of smaller pieces here that get used, and that makes for a super engaging build. I don't think this build felt boring at all to me, even when I was putting on all those little 1x1 tiles for the roofing sections. I think those are just as important, just as engaging as, you know, many of the other sections here. So I think the pacing is quite lovely, actually. This section, you can see we have those couple like those pins there, and we also use some mixel joints there. This angle that is created gets covered up kind of flawlessly in a way that I never expected, but it does use kind of some of those like Technic axles into like a Technic pinhole set to connect the different sections. We have Gandalf in here for the minifigure there, and we're going to keep on doing kind of the next floor here, which is nice. There's some very cool details up here. Again, we use some different candlesticks to make the railing, and I was kind of surprised at how this floor eventually came together. Also some great uses of some of those cupcake pieces for some really nice kind of pillars there, and you kind of offset these a little bit to make a just a really beautiful kind of silhouette here, or meaning like the profile, like looking at it from the side or straight on at its level, you really get to see kind of how incredible some of the details are. And here we get to see how we're going to make this curve for the little stairwell there, which is always great. We also, you can see that turntables used there again to maybe offset some different stuff, which is just brilliant. There's I don't know if there's any way I would think to try to improve on this. Like, I would have to get really nitpicky. I'd have to spend some time with my thoughts with it for a while. Maybe I would want to take it apart and build it again to see if I have some complaints. But you know, from my perspective now, having taken, you know, a few months to appreciate it and look at it since I built it, I don't have anything that comes to mind of what I would want to change. So that's really great. I mean, I think that's rare. I think even for some of my favorite sets, there is ways to improve them. And for sure, like I said, I think I probably could come up with things to improve this, but it probably is one of the closest to, dare I say, perfect sets I've built and encountered. And you know, I really welcome the return of the Lord of the Rings in Lego, and if it means they're just doing like one a year that are D2C, if they're all this quality, then I'm going to be here for that 100% of the time, because I really lived for this set, and it really blew me away. So very good. We're getting close. I think we're about 2/3 done with the video here, but it feels like we've already been going for a good amount of time, and that's, you know, kind of interesting. We're moving on to bag 35. Like I say, I can't remember how many bags there are exactly, but a lot of these white pieces, a lot of these little frilly kind of curve pieces, a lot of candlestick pieces, again, those cupcake pieces, tons of different stuff here to make some more of these little archways, these little pillars that are kind of delicate. They could be a little bit flimsy because they are just like at the base, one stud, you know, all around, and they are relatively tall, all things considered, but I didn't mind it at all. This is another just truly brilliant way to kind of get this nice little curve to round out the area in which these kind of sub-assemblies are going to reside, and we'll get a good look at that. And then, like I said at the beginning, I think after this is finished editing and finished uploading, then maybe I'll take my camera and get a little closer in and go over some of my favorite parts here, so we can see this set not just from the top down and not just from the build process, where we can really get a look at all of the wonderful parts that maybe weren't as easy to see here. So if you're seeing this, thank you for being on like Patreon or being a YouTube member. That means a lot to me. It helps me out. And look out for kind of the next video that I'll be making about this. I can't promise when it'll be done, because sets like this do take me a while, and making a video of them does take me a while because it's a pretty big difference from my typical setup. And now we're going to move on to kind of making some stuff that'll eventually be connected to the roof, and we're still not really close to the end because we can kind of still see the Eye of Sauron there, and that has to be covered up because that's kind of an Easter egg, and we don't want that to be visible there. So there's going to be a lot of stuff done here to accommodate what is going to be the big roof section. Some of this is similar, using those kind of keychain pieces that the other kind of tower section did, the first section we looked at. We do have some of those little window pieces here, which is very nice. Tons of tiny details, tons of just amazing stuff all throughout. So this little section is really charming, and I think there's people that could see this as tedious, but I didn't think so at all. So we get another kind of little tower area there, which is wonderful. Have some more stickers here for some different paintings or banners, and those are actually just on the back side. So it's open back, so if you were to spin this around, you'd be able to see those. And again, they add a lot of character and a lot of story and a lot of detail to the build, so I really appreciated that. We're on to bags 37, 38, 39. We have some big plates here, and also a lot of these 1x1 tiles. So this is the major roof section, which might be some people's least favorite part. I don't think it was my favorite part, but it was just as wonderful to me as any other part of the build, except for when I mix up some colors, which might happen occasionally, and some other stuff because of my color blindness. But overall, I thought this was really brilliantly done, and very few gaps, very, very cool. The pattern is very similar to the roof sections from the other places, which again isn't that big of a deal for me. Once I kind of got in the groove, it made a ton of sense. And the instructions made it very clear how to straighten these up, so I didn't even really have to take a ton of time to worry about that. Now, I actually went through this and tried to straighten stuff up, probably more than you need to. You can probably just put all of them in there and then straighten them up at the end, and I tended to kind of go through one color or one little section of this and straighten them and then move on to the next one, and that's fine too. But you could also just wait until you're done with all the roof tiling here and then run the plate through there on the side and get them all straight. I think I was being a little bit I don't know if perfectionist is the right word, but I was being a little more meticulous here in this section because I really wanted them to be straight while I was working, and there's no way it would be possible for me to just put them down in the perfect position as is. So this is really nice, and now while I'm recording this, I've been talking for a good amount of time, so I'm going to take a drink quickly, and then we'll get right back into the commentary. So forgive me if you hear me having some water. Okay, we're still looking at the roof here, and that's okay. You can see we have all of those modified plates with the kind of bar up at the top, and we're going to attach those to all those little clip tiles. It's essentially like a 2x2 tile with a clip on the middle of the back, and those are going to be on there so they can be angled. Then we have some different Technic pieces, like plates with a Technic axe or Technic pinhole on them that'll go on the other side that'll help secure this roof into place once we finish this out here. And I'll give it another run for straightening all these little aspects out here, which is great. And I can't express how much I loved this. I'm colorblind, but I could see the differences in those tiles well enough, and that was one of the first things when the set was revealed, when it was announced. I showed my friends, showed my family. I was look at that roof, look how crazy that is, and it did not disappoint. It really, really worked for me. I think it looks just incredible. And so, even if it's boring or if it's tedious or if it's monotonous or it's repetitive to put those on there, it didn't bother me 1 second, because I definitely think it's worth the end goal. Another minifigure here. I think that might have been Legolas or somebody, or somebody else from the Fellowship, or somebody else just from Rivendell area here. And now we are going to add kind of this little offshoot section, which is good, and luckily for us, we will have to do some more of the tiling out for the roof here, which is great. This has some building techniques that is similar to kind of the floor area under the gazebo, but not exactly the same. But it's really terrific, and maybe this is the one that I messed up a little bit, so we'll have to see if I have to backtrack a little bit here to make sure this is all right. I think, what is that, like elven bread or something like that there on those leaf pieces, which is a nice little detail. And we will keep moving on. Now we have, look at this. These colors look familiar, and that is because these are going to be used for some pillars, some candlesticks, and eventually a roof tiled out in the same kind of theme, the same kind of way, which, I can't get enough. I would have done, if you don't want to build this, I will tile out your roof for you. That's how much I liked it. It was actually sad for me when I was getting to the end of this, but we really use some wonderful pieces in here to get this rounded off as well, which is just incredible for a block-based system to be able to achieve everything they did in this set. And you can see we have what's going to eventually amount to the where the places where the roof is going to connect there. Nice usage of those like pigeon pieces or those doves or those little bird pieces for some detail, which is great. I think I messed up some stuff there with some different colors, so a handy dandy brick separator comes in, and also the handy dandy plates that can be used to straighten out all of these tiles, which is again very lovely and very smart. Add on these pieces on the back with the bars, clip them in, and just make sure I have everything correct there. I may have not had them correct, so we will have to see. But I really enjoyed this. It does take up a good amount of time, but we're getting towards the end here. We still have to build like the round of all of the chairs for the Fellowship, like where the ring is going to be, where all the different people in Rivendell are going to sit. And so that's coming up next. There's still a big tree to be built and a few other little things here. So that's really great. And there we have to switch it around because that kind of turquoise blue was supposed to be at the top. And we add a little bit of stuff. I am realizing that I have a leftover piece here that I don't think should be left over. But maybe I figured it out. And I might have made a mistake, so we're going to take a second to look at some different stuff, and we'll see moving on to the next bit here into the 40s. Again, a lot of floral elements here, which is great for me. Building some trees. We do use some Technic stuff to kind of connect the trees to the main bit of the building. These are actually kind of thin trees, but I really liked how they were done with some of these clip pieces here, and how they kind of all folded together. They really look organic in a way that I always appreciate when Lego does this. So they have these different like Technic pieces with the axle holes like coming out different ways. They have different little bar element there on top, so that all of these little branches would, or these bundles of leaves, will attach really nicely and overlap with each other really nicely. The kind of gradient of the color feels really organic too, so I appreciate that as well, even though, when it gets to the leaves changing in the real world, not in the Lego world, I sometimes have a bit of difficulty noticing that. But in this case, in this set, I was able to kind of see the changing of the colors from one section of the tree to the other, which is very lovely. see. And here we do a little of a smaller one as well, which is very cute. Some other different colors in there. We add that to the side. And I will move that away a little bit because we're going to start working on this other little section here. Now this is going to be, forgive me, I don't remember what this is called, but this is going to be sort of the area that's going to cover up the Sauron eye, and it's going to have all these wonderful little chairs in there using some hot dogs, using some popsicle pieces, and tons of other cute stuff that'll be really well done. And we also at the end have some different legs, because the hobbits are on the shortest legs. They cannot sit, so we have to do some brick built legs to make that work. That maybe is one thing that they could have improved upon. I don't know if they would go as far as like making a new kind of piece for those things. Maybe brick building it is just better, but it would be interesting to see like the smallest Lego legs built to be in a sitting position, or molded to be in a sitting position kind of automatically here. Again, some pretty terrific curves here, really rounding this out with different degrees, different slopes, different angles, tons of different stuff. We have more of those beautifully printed tiles that will go all through here. Some of them are just 2x2 tiles, some of them are Nexonite shields, tile out all around that, and then we make room for some different chairs. This was really smart in the middle there for that table, using kind of the box pieces and interlocking them or crossing them to kind of create that shape there. Again, we have a little bit of some repetition here, but you can see all the different like hot dog pieces used and all of the popsicle pieces used, which I think are in like nougat or medium nougat or something like that. And these can be a little bit finicky here too, but it's just so worth it at the end. So I thought this was brilliant to make these chairs, and there'll be kind of some other stuff here at the end that kind of ties this all together. So we're going to keep working on this. Again, maybe some more tree stuff here, which is terrific. We're also going to build at least one more chair because that's one of the more special ones there for people for the fellowship, or people who live in Rivendell to occupy, which is great. And this is kind of the biggest tree area, I would say, in the set. And there's some really nice stuff in here. Color choices are pretty well done, and overall, like the root structure and the trunk and the kind of vines and the trees and how all of this comes together is quite good. Probably some of the better Lego trees that I've seen done, and I like to think that I've seen a lot of them from all different kinds of themes, and this one was just really, really brilliant. So we are going to kind of be nearing the end here, and I don't think I spend too much time looking at everything once it's all done. So like I say, I'll follow this up with another video, but I just wanted to kind of finish out here by saying thank you for being part of Patreon or being a member on YouTube. Thank you for subscribing or liking or commenting or any of that stuff. I really, really appreciate it, and it means a lot to me. Hopefully I'll be able to do more videos like this for bigger sets in the future. I really like doing them. Hopefully I'll be able to also just be doing, improving my setup, improving my content in any way that I can to keep delivering people things that they enjoy watching, and if people keep enjoying maybe my takes on things, I certainly enjoy making these videos, and so it doesn't really feel like work to me. It's not really work to me. I'm just doing it because it's fun, and if it were to ever become work for me, that's an issue for a different day. So I'm just very, very grateful for everyone. I'm grateful to be able to have looked at this set in depth. I'm grateful to have been able to spend time recording it, this video, and editing it, and recording the commentary and all of that other stuff. And I'm going to look forward to building, building more Lego, but I'm also going to be looking forward to making a kind of follow-up video for this where we get to look at the set in kind of greater detail from some different angles here. And while we finish up, I just wanted to express my extreme gratitude and my appreciation for anybody who's been along on this journey for me. So thank you, thank you, thank you very much. So while we kind of finish up the end here, I will just say, if you like this video, click the thumbs up or share it with your friends. If you like my other videos, subscribe to my channel. If you want to support my channel, you probably already do, because if you're seeing this, you're likely on the Patreon or the membership, but that stuff helps me a lot. So maybe consider sharing that and keep supporting me if you wish. I just really, really appreciate it, and we're going to kind of put this all together, and that'll be the end. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And with all of that said, until next time, thanks. Bye. And yes, here we're making the little brick built legs.